Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Your Stocks on CNBC TV18, coming live from CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal Studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. A quick look at what the market has been doing, because the market has recovered from the day's lowest point, a slight bit of a recovery that we've seen, and managing to hold on to 22,400 levels even as of now. As of now, the cuts that are there on the Nifty 50, 0.3% of cut is what we're seeing on the benchmark indices. Though broader markets continue to underperform, we've seen a Nifty mid-cap down almost more than 1%, 1.5% approximately, and small cap is also seeing a decline of almost 0.7% in today's trading session. So yes, mid-cap is where the severe pressure is coming in. A Nifty small cap also has seen some bit of a recovery. One sector that has moved into the green in the last 1 hour is the Nifty Auto. Let's pull that up, because Nifty Auto is trading with gains of almost 2/10 to 0.3% in the last half an hour. We've seen that uptick coming in for the Nifty Auto. Banks continue to do well and continue to hold on the positive side. So Nifty Bank also managing to hold on to the green that it has been seeing, recovered from the day's lowest point. 48,000 above that mark is what the Nifty Bank is holding on to. So yes, that's how the market setup is looking like as of now. But this is a show where we solve all your stock related queries, and to solve all those doubts today, we have our experts joining in with us. We have Astha Jain, Research Analyst at Securities, as well as Somil Mehta, Head of Alternate Research Capital Market Strategy at Mirae Asset Sharekhan, joining in with us on the show. Good afternoon, Astha, as well as Somil, and thank you so much for joining in with us on the show. Let's get started with the queries for today then, and we'll start with the first query. Nidhi Parmar is writing to us from Gujarat. She's holding 100 shares of Titagarh Rail Systems. This is at a price of 1,600 rupees per share, so making considerable loss on this one as of now. She wants to know whether she should continue to hold this for the long term. Astha, good afternoon, and talk to me about the fundamentals for this one first.
Hi, good afternoon to both of you. Talking about this counter, fundamental seems to be okay, because this is the only Indian company which is into the wagon manufacturing. And we know their market share is also very strong in the wagon manufacturing, although they manufacture coaches as well. And in fact, the order book is also very strong. It is more than 13,000 crores of order book that they are having right now. So all in all, I think this stock is poised for show more upside from here. Maybe it will take some time, because we all know that at one point of a time, railway stocks were in the demand, and that's why valuations were a little bit stretched. So now they are just correcting. So my idea here is that for the longer term perspective, this stock is a hold from our side with the price target of 750 to 780, but it is only for long term. In the short term, we might see some more volatility on the downside.
Okay. That's the view coming in from Astha on Titagarh Rail. Somil, good afternoon, and what is your view coming in for Titagarh Rail? Because we have clearly seen it fall from those 1,400 levels somewhere in September 2024 to now at 699, and the viewer has also bought it at around 1,500 levels, 1,600 levels. So what should the viewer now do? Should she continue to hold, look to average, or what is the bet here now?
At the moment, I think from here on, I'm expecting short to medium term targets of around 600 levels. So definitely short term bias and the medium term bias both remains negative. The person is holding this stock from 1,500 levels. That is way too high, and it may take a lot of time for these prices to come back again. So I think from here, maybe hold on and add more on around 600 levels. But personally, I would never suggest anyone to average out on the losing trades.
Okay, let's move on to the next query then for today. We have Ikambarai, who's writing to us from Hyderabad, holding 50 shares of GE Shipping. This is at a price of 985 rupees per share. Wants to know whether to average at current levels. Your view coming in on GE Shipping. Astha, let me take it to you first.
So I don't recommend averaging at this point of a time, because we may see some more downside in the stock prices. So I think there will be more opportunity on the lower side to average this counter, at least not at present moment of time. Now, talking about the fundamentals of the counter, although management says that their order book has been doubled in the last 12 months. But what we have seen in their Q3 of FY25 numbers was that the bottom line was mainly grown on account of high other income because their other income has rose significantly. So if I take out that part of the element from the company's financial, then definitely there is a degrowth as compared to Q3 of FY24. So the financial performance was not up to the mark, and that's why we have seen the stock correcting a lot. So I don't recommend averaging at this point of the time. Maybe we can see lower prices from here. At that moment, again, the query can be reviewed. But as of now, if someone has this counter in the portfolio, they can remain invested in. I'm seeing the price target of somewhere around 950 to 980, but that is purely in the longer term, not in shorter term.
950, 980 is something that is coming in the long term, not in the short term. Near term, maybe we could see some bit of a decline also is what Astha is saying. GE Shipping for you, Somil, on the charts, how is GE Shipping looking like?
I think the short-term bottom, short to medium-term bottom is already formed here. A small inverted head and shoulder pattern has been forming in on the daily charts, momentum indicators on the buy side. I think it should start a new rally on the upside, and the target should be around 1050, which is very close to 200 daily exponential moving average. And I'm expecting a sharp bounce from here because momentum indicators already have a positive divergence. So bias remains positive, and the target should be around 1000 to 1050.
Okay, let's move on to the next query for today. This is coming in from Raja Rao Kumar, who's writing to us from Bangalore. He's holding 125 shares of KEC International. Price is 500 rupees per share. Wants to know whether to continue to hold, sell, or look to sell at current levels, making some bit of profit on this one. Astha, KEC International, your view?
So I would recommend to book partial profit since the investor is making profits as of now. So booking partial profit is recommended at this point of a time and remain invested in the partial quantity for the price target of again 750 to 780. Now talking about this counter, KEC International, one of the engineering infrastructure company, and their main merit is about their T&D segment, which is seeing huge traction. If I talk about the demand, if I talk about the order book. So I think, and in fact, they are getting orders from the international market, especially Saudi Arabia, if I talk about that market. So T&D segment is looking very strong in this company, and that's why we believe in the long term, this stock might show some more upside from here. But right now, markets are in a very volatile mood. So we recommend to book partial profit, at least as of now, and remain invested for the price target of 750 to 780.
Okay, can book partial profits is what Astha is saying right now in this current market scenario. KEC International, on the technicals for you. Somil, what is it looking like on the charts? Because I think somewhere around in December, it made those highs in the last 1 year, and then it started seeing that fall coming in. So are you expecting more of a downside now for KEC International?
I think KEC International, the lows which we have seen 650, those are very crucial levels to watch out for in the medium term outlook. And I think a short term bounce is definitely expected because there's a small indignal pattern formed. However, there's no breakout yet. Once it closes above 740, I think the next level would be around 885, which is very close to 200 daily exponential moving average. We shouldn't forget that this stock is trading below 20 daily moving average for a very long time. So the short-term bias and medium-term bias is negative. However, close above 740 will give us good short-term bounce.
Okay, let's move on then to the next query, and this one is on Zomato. Now, Zomato, I think everyone has a lot of queries because every time we take it, there is a new query coming in. This is from Deepak Jain, who's writing to us from New Delhi. 70 shares of Zomato, price is 100 rupees. Wants to know whether to book profits, continue to stay invested. Your view, Astha, the viewer has bought it. They're making profits on this one as well. I think one of those few viewers right now who's making a profit. So what should they be doing?
So this company has a very strong position in the food delivery market, and now they are expanding well in the quick commerce market also. Despite the competition, which seems to be very stiff for this company, they are continuously adding new stores, new warehouses, and in fact, expanding their mobile usage also. So I think all these will help the company in posting good set of numbers in the longer term, but in the short term, we are quite skeptical about the stock prices momentum. So my idea here is to book partial profit at current juncture, since the investor is making good profit, and remain invested in the partial quantity. for the price target of again 230 to 240 odd levels, but this can be a longer term target, not in the shorter term.
Okay, and Zomato on the technicals for you?
Zomato is definitely looking negative, medium-term bias negative, short-term bias negative. It has just taken resistance at 200 daily exponential moving average and has broken out of a small triangle pattern on the downside. The next target would be around 180 in the medium-term outlook, and if it closes below 180, then it goes to 165. So for short-term targets, I would be around 180 levels.
Okay, on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Viewers, don't go anywhere, because after the break also, we'll be still answering all your stock-related queries. Stay tuned then. Welcome back to your stocks on CNBC-TV18. We still have with us Astha Jain as well as Somil Mehta to answer all your stock-related queries. Let's move on to the next query, and this one is on Power Grid. Now, Kamal Sharma is writing to us from Bihar, holding 70 shares of Power Grid. This is at a price of 162 rupees per share. Wants to know the prospects of his investments in this one. So they're making a profit of this one. Astha, your view for Power Grid in the long term, how is it looking?
Long term is looking strong for this company because first of all, they have got a very good market share in the new project win. In fact, they have recently won the bid for 190 billion of transmission projects. So their order book is looking very strong. And I think on that basis, long-term outlook is very positive for this company. Recommend a hold on this counter with a price target of 280 to 290 at the current levels.
Okay, that's a view coming in from Astha. But on the technicals for you, Somil, what should one do with the Power Grid right now? They're making a profit. So continue to hold this for the short term, long term, medium term, and the targets that you would have.
Definitely bias positive in the short term, in the medium term. The fall which we have seen in last 6 months, I think the bottom is in place. For medium term outlook, at least the next target in the medium term would be around 300 levels and strong support around 261. A long term trend line has the stock has hold a long-term trend line, and now the high top high bottom formation has already started. So I think the next target would be 300 and strong support at 260.
Okay, let's move on then to the next query for today. We have this is NTPC Green, which is the stock that the viewer has a query on. Himani is writing to us from Bihar, holding 100 shares of NTPC Green Energy. This is at a price of 85 rupees per share. Wants to know whether to continue to hold or look to sell this one at the current levels. Astha, your view on NTPC Green?
I think one can continue holding this counter, but there were certain issues. First of all, the IPO, which came back at 108 issue price, I think in November last year, that was a great success, but we have seen a sharp fall from the issue price also, because 108 was the IPO price at the higher end of the price band. Now, talking about the fundamentals of this counter, because this being the wholly owned subsidiary of NTPC, one of the Maharatna with a renewable energy public sector enterprise, its main positive was that they have the revenues which were continuously growing, and in fact, their credit ratings were very strong, which enabled them to have a low credit cost. But if I talk about the financial performance of the company, especially in the Q3 of FY25, other income just was very high. And if I take out that other income, then the bottom line growth was not seen as was expected from this counter. So maybe that can be one of the reasons that we have not seen stock prices moving in that great manner. But I think in the longer term, it is a good story to believe on. Remain invested in this counter with the price target of 107 to 112.
Okay, and Somil, do you have any view on NTPC Green? I know not much in terms of historical charts, but anything on NTPC Green?
The best part about this stock is that it has started making high tops, high bottom. It does not have much data, but started making high tops, high bottom. And this stock has never started making higher tops, higher bottoms since the time of its listing. So this is a very good sign at the moment, but keep a very strict stop loss of around 91, and the short-term target would be around 108. Once it closes above 108, the next level would be 118. So these are the short to medium-term targets.
Okay, let's move on to the next query then. This is coming in from Himanshu Jain, writing to us from Madhya Pradesh, holding 150 shares of one MobiKwik. This is at a price of 270 rupees per share. Currently also it's trading at 270 approximately. Wants to know the outlook for this company going forward. Astha, your view on MobiKwik?
So outlook doesn't seems to be that positive. Now, I tell you again, this was one of the listing because the IPO came again in December 24 and the issue price was 279 at the higher end of the price band between 265 to 279. Now, what we are seeing that the stock has fallen below the issue price of 279. So first of all, the main reason which I think that was the main contributor towards this downfall is that their results were not up to the mark, especially they have posted losses, and that losses were not on the operating level, but it was on the bottom line also. And when the IPO came, the only talk was that this company, being a technology platform company, has started posting profit, and that was the major feature of this company. But right now, I think due to these losses and all that stuff, maybe the stock prices are not getting that attention. So my idea here is either partially exit from this counter at the higher level, because the cost price is somewhere near to the stock price as of now, or to hold this counter for a very long term with a price target of 290 to 300.
Okay, and Somil, what is your view coming in on this one? I know it's just listed in December, but since December, we've only seen a downside coming in for the stock, right? So anything that you've seen or anything that you're noticing in terms of a pattern?
Right, it has never closed above 10 daily moving average or a 20 daily moving average. It is always closed below 10 daily moving average, which is a sign of weakness. And I don't see any bounce at the moment. Short-term bias, medium-term bias remains negative. If the stock by chance gives a close above to 306, which is a 20 daily simple moving average, only then the bias will change to positive. But I don't see any reversals at this point of time.
Okay, not much of a reversal that you are seeing at this point of time as well. Let's move on to the next query, Dixon Technologies. Now, Rashmi Kapoor has got 20 shares of Dixon Technology. This is at a price of 10,000 rupees per share. Wants to know in the near-term outlook of the stock as well. There was a split also that happened, and then post that also, again, it's seen such a sharp run-up. Astha, Dixon Technologies, EMS players surely are doing well. You know, they have that base, but in the recent times, we've seen a stock correction coming in. So, Dixon Technology, fundamentally, how are you viewing it?
So fundamentally, I think what we have seen in the result was the growth was mainly led by their EMS and mobile segment. And in fact, the company has just doubled their, mobile segment also, volume in the mobile segment. But what I feel that we really need to see how the valuation pan out for such kind of performances. So idea here is, since the investor is making profit as of now, so just book partial profit and remain invested in the partial quantity with a price target of 13,500 to 13,600 in the medium to long term.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Dixon Tech, but we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Your Stock. So, Somil as well as Astha, thank you so much for joining with us on the show. And viewers, thank you so much for sending us your queries. Keep sending them in. We'll always be taking them on Monday, Wednesdays as well as Fridays. So don't go anywhere. Up next now, you have Closing Bell to take you through the last hour of action and trade.